What's up, everyone? I'm Tamara, and thank you for joining me today. We're going to talk about healthy defense mechanisms that you can have, and that I would love for borderline personality disorders and everyone really to develop some of these good defense mechanisms, because it can help you develop better relationships with other people and also to feel better inside. So the first one is anticipation. So it's the action of anticipating something, expectation or prediction. And why this is important? Because you want to be aware of your emotions. This is where planning can come in handy. So if you know, for example, there are going to be changes in your job, then you can anticipate those changes so that you can be ready for them, so that you're not caught off guard. If you know certain events are happening or a holiday is coming and you're going to be interacting with family or friends, then you can anticipate that event and prepare for it. So that's when you start to deal with, okay, what are my stressors? What discomfort may I have? What fears may come up? And explore how you want things to turn out and put things into place so that you have a cushion around you, so that you have protection around you, and so that you can make things happen in the most positive way possible and it doesn't take you off guard. So anticipation is really a good thing. It's like you kind of have a plan B. I used to think, hey, do I worry too much? But it's not about worrying. It's about being ready, being prepared. And it helps me to think in the future what's going to happen, play it out in my mind, so that when I actually get there physically, I'm ready for it. Let's talk about sublimation, which I think is a really cool positive defense mechanism. And it involves channeling unwanted or unacceptable urges into an admissible or productive outlet. So, for an example, if somebody is breaking up with somebody, they might decide, I'm going to decorate my bedroom and do something amazing with it, or make it look really nice, or hang up new pictures, or change the colors. That is a positive way of channeling negative energy into something positive. Like if somebody said, well, I'm just going to go bust his tires, that's not productive, but sublimation is. A lot of boxers, professional boxers, are using sublimation. So instead of fighting on the street, they learn how to channel it into something positive that is an acceptable sport. So you can do the same thing. Some people might say this is a form of denial, or you're not owning your feelings. I think it's okay that if you're upset about a breakup, you to own your feelings, to let yourself cry, to allow yourself to hurt. But I think you can start to wrap yourself in that like a blanket. So it's better to channel it into something positive. In American society, we probably don't allow enough time for grief. Some countries, they will spend months grieving over a person and it's acceptable, and they wear black and they have all these rituals and things that they do. In America, it's like you got to get back up and go to work the next day. So it's very difficult and challenging, but at the same time, I think just, at a certain point and at certain times during the day even, you can let yourself grieve, but then you can also channel your sadness or frustration into an activity. I personally think that works much better for a borderline than trying to make them understand every nuance of every feeling that they have no control over. I just think it's a better strategy. So definitely try that. So let's talk about suppression as a defense mechanism. Some people may think of that as negative, but suppression can also be positive, just similar to what we just talked about. And it's a voluntary form of repression, which was proposed by Sigmund Freud in 1892. Isn't that cool? It's the conscious process of pushing unwanted, anxiety-provoking thoughts, memories, emotions, fantasies, and desires out of awareness. And imagine if we lived with the opposite, where we just let all of that stuff play out all the time. Sometimes borderlines, depending on how high or low functioning they are, can do that, and it can get out of control. That having unwanted anxiety provoking thoughts can drive us all nuts. So at some points we have to push those out of the way and find a replacement. And I'm not saying to never deal with those kinds of emotions, because I think that's important too. But at some point we have to train ourselves to not delve into that at all times, and that's where suppression can come in handy. Like, let's say borderlines will attach really fast to people. So sometimes you need to suppress those feelings to keep the other person from freaking out and allow the time that is necessary to get to know that person before you just jump in and say, "You're my person," or "I'm connecting with you." Give it some time. Take some steps back. How about humor? I have found that a lot of borderlines are great at humor. Like, they can find the funny in things and make you laugh and just joke. And that is a great thing for anyone to use, because it's a way of expressing your feelings or your thoughts in a fun, happy, amusing way without causing hurt or pain to another person, such as using sarcasm or humor. So wit can lessen people feeling uncomfortable or having thoughts, that are unwanted. Humor lightens things up and makes everyone feel better. So it's a defense mechanism that we need, as long as we don't use it to hurt other people. I once had this little boy he was about 11 or 12, and he was learning to use humor in a way to make other kids laugh at the expense of others. So he was calling a girl fat and making fun of her, and "You need to go eat more hamburgers, fatty. You need to go run around the lap a couple more times because you're so fat," and he was making the kids laugh. But now you're doing damage to somebody else. That is totally unacceptable. And what's sad is that we do have adults who think that that's okay. And I know a lot of borderlines feel like they have been abused or mistreated in that way. And I'm here to tell you that that is not okay. That's unacceptable type of humor. But when you can find the funny in life, then it can change the lens that you're looking out of. So that's very, very important to do. And then finally, a self-defense mechanism is self-discipline. And I will say I personally have learned how to not procrastinate. I'm not saying that I never procrastinate, but procrastination is something that most adults do. But I've trained myself not to do that. I have trained myself to take care of things as they arise or as they come off, not putting off tomorrow what I can do today. I try to handle it and take care of it right away. So that's kind of a form of self-discipline. So self-discipline involves removing pleasurable effects of short-term rewards, so ones that could be derived from negative behaviors or patterns or beliefs. So you figure out what is the best thing for you, and you feel good when you can exercise self-control and push away negative behaviors or acting out behaviors that could cause you a lot of problems in the long run. You have to train yourself to not do things that you know are socially unacceptable and that can cause you a lot of problems in the long run. It's not worth that. We want to have positive relationships and build positive connections with people so that we can enjoy each other's company and not push them away. Sometimes borderlines will test people to see, and it's sort of subconscious. I don't think that, it could be looked at as manipulation, but they're really trying to create a sense of safety in a world where they haven't felt very safe. So self-discipline takes practice, it takes work, it takes pushing past what we are immediately feeling, and that's what we have to do sometimes. And it's not easy, but we have to work at it because it's so rewarding when you can push away hurtful pleasures or things that are going to cause problems later. So self-control is an aspect of inhibitory control, and it's the ability to regulate one's emotions, thoughts, and behavior in the face of temptation and impulses. It's an executive function in the cognitive process that is necessary for regulating one's behavior in order to achieve specific goals. So the easiest example to think of is when somebody's going on a diet. Man, that is the worst. It's something about telling yourself no that makes you want to say yes, right? So telling yourself, I can't have these Twinkies. That can be really upsetting. And so one of the strategies that I often recommend for someone who's dieting is, what can you add to your diet? I'm adding more fruits, I'm adding more vegetables, I'm adding more water. So what can you add to your life that can make it better? Like, can you add a morning routine so that adds security? You know what's happening first, second, and third. What can you add to make your life better and be more fulfilling? So it's the ability to control one's feelings and overcome one's weaknesses, and that takes work and practice. Everybody wants easy. Everything isn't easy. Self-control and self-discipline takes time, willpower, self-mastery, restraint. Those are things that have to be practiced on a daily basis, and you might practice it with something small. So it's the ability to pursue what someone thinks is right despite temptations to abandon it. So this is a very positive defense mechanism that can take you a long way. Let us know in the comments which one of these defense mechanisms you think you can say, no more excuses, this is what I'm doing, that you can practice for the rest of this week. Or is there one that you're already really good at, and what helps you to be good at it? We're all so curious to know. And if you're interested in finding love, check out my book, Flip the Script on Love by Tamara Zyon on Amazon. Because love is beautiful and wonderful, but for all of us, it takes work and practice and skill. And so I think my book is a fun way to help you get the love that you are so excited to get. And if you're already in love, let's try to make it even better. So spread the word about my video, share this one, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks, friends. Bye-bye.